Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to today's episode of The Blueprint. This is day 2 of a 31-day special series entitled Daily Proverb for Profitability, Positively Influencing the Bottom Line. It's at 6:30 in the morning. We're going to go through a chapter a day in the book of Proverbs, the book of wisdom and understanding and enlightenment and insight. And if you happen to miss it, go over to my YouTube page and subscribe, Dr. Lisa T. Lewis, and you will be notified when we go live. And also there is a playlist there. So I'm going to jump right in. The month of January typically for a lot of us is the time that we set aside to prepare vision boards and set goals and objectives and things that we would like to do and like to accomplish in the coming year. 2020 was a very challenging year for most of us, and it's still challenging and ongoing. So we need to seek insight, divine insight, discernment, and understanding. Also, it's an opportunity, like for myself, the church that I belong to, we do a corporate fast, right? Where everybody fasts for the first 21, since it's 2021, 21 days, but I like to do it the first 31 days of the year, and different people give up different things, right? I know what's on my list to give up for the next 31 days, but also what I'm adding to the list is it came to my mind when I was in my training for ministry for clergy that we had to read a proverb a day. We had to write down what our insights were and journal and see where we were at the end of the month, and every month kind of do a check back to see if the divine insights that we got in things that we put into place and implemented, whether or not it had impact. So I'm walking through Proverbs a chapter a day, and I thought I would share it with my social media platform. So jumping right into Proverbs chapter 2, since this is day 2 of Daily Proverb for Profitability, Positively Influencing the Bottom Line. And I am reading out of the Passion Translation because that's what I like. It's simple and easy to understand. So Proverbs chapter 2, starting at verse 1, "My child, will you treasure my wisdom? Then and only then will you acquire it. And only if you accept my advice and hide it within you will you succeed. So train your heart to listen when I speak, and open your spirit wide to expand your discernment. Then pass it on to your sons and daughters. Yes, cry out for comprehension and intercede for insight. For if you keep seeking it like a man would seek for sterling silver, searching in hidden places for cherished treasure, then you will discover the fear of the Lord and find the true knowledge." So verses 1 through 5 takes us to our first insight. Insight number 1 is that wisdom requires an investment, a commitment. Wisdom is to be cherished. It takes time, energy, seeking it out, and then passing it on, just like any other investment or commitment that we make. If we even think about our financial profile or investing in a savings account or for retirement or anything like that, even when we make those kind of investments, we have to be committed to the process, because the return is not going to be necessarily immediately. When we earn interest and dividends on investments, it's compounded daily, but we don't see the full impact unless we leave it there for a time, right? And anything that we invest in, financially speaking, in our careers, it's for our development and for our growth, right? In order for us to have legacy to be able to pass down. in order to share it with others and those that we come in contact with. And so even in this time, what we've invested in, we have noticed and learned that a lot of us have had to tap into savings, have had to tap into relationships. We invest in relationships, right? And even those results aren't immediate, but flourish over time. And we have to relook at and take that wisdom on what it is that we need to invest and commit to in this year, in this season. So jumping back in, picking up at verse 6 of Proverbs chapter 2. Wisdom is a gift from a generous God, and every word he speaks is full of revelation and becomes a fountain of understanding within you. For the Lord has a hidden storehouse of wisdom made accessible to his godly lovers. He becomes your personal bodyguard as you follow his ways, protecting and guarding you as you choose what is right. Then you will discover all that is just, proper, and fair, and be empowered to make the right decisions as you walk into your destiny. When wisdom wins your heart and revelation breaks in, true pleasure enters your soul. If you choose to follow good counsel, divine design will watch over you, and understanding will protect you from making poor choices. So that gets us to our next point in verses 6 through 11, and what I just finished reading in Proverbs chapter 2, that wisdom is a gift that keeps on giving. Wisdom is a gift that keeps on giving. Wisdom is not a one and done. When we get insight and discernment, it is a gift that keeps on giving. It gives us ideas. It gives us insight and discernment on the proper choices to make. Every day, throughout the day, we are making choices and decisions. I learned one of my school teachers, clergy, Bible school teachers used to teach all the time, and he still says to this day, is that we live and die by the choices that we make. I think about some of the choices that I made in 2020. I think about some of the consequences of those choices. And when I didn't make the best choices, the results were detrimental, right? They impacted my life in a negative way. But then better choices that I made had better results and better outcome. So I think about the fact that we're in this corporate fast at the beginning of the year, right? So I have a relationship with food. I mean, a relationship, a committed relationship. I love food. I love to eat. I love good food. But as a result of me loving food so much and my relationship with food that is not quite in balance, I've made some poor choices about what I have decided to eat. Too much sugar, too much fat, or things like that. And that decision, those repeated decisions in terms of what I've decided to eat, right, in my relationship with food, has caused some pounds to show up on my body, right? And so in those decisions and the pounds that are showing and demonstrated and manifesting in the flesh on my body, in order to turn the tide on my weight, I have to change my relationship with food, and I need help. So I take, I'm now drinking the Tava tea, and I'm sure I'll get into that in another episode, but I drink a tea every morning. I take my multivitamin and omega-3 and all that good stuff, and I monitor what I'm eating every day in order to change the relationship that I have with food. Right? In order to change and the decisions and the choices that I make with what I put in my mouth. So again, insight number 2 is that wisdom is a gift that keeps on giving. When we get understanding once, we can get it again and again and again. So every day I need discernment and understanding and insight on what to eat and what to eat properly, right? So let's jump back in so we can get to point number 3. Starting at verse 12 in Proverbs 2, wisdom will rescue you from evil in disguise and from those who speak duplicities, for they have left the highway of holiness and walk in the ways of darkness. They take pleasure when evil prospers and thoroughly enjoy a lifestyle of sin. But they're walking on a path to nowhere, wandering away into deeper deception. That gets us to point number 3, insight number 3. Wisdom liberates. It's freeing. It frees us from bondage, right? And freeing us is from freeing my mind, right? What is the cliche? Free your mind and the rest will follow, right? Or free your mind and your assets will follow. So when we get free in our mind and in our thought process, that's what wisdom helps us to do, because it said in verse 12 that it will rescue us. Wisdom will rescue us from evil in disguise and from those who speak duplicities. So evil in disguise is our thought process. Evil in disguise is we need to eat. I need to eat. I have to eat. If I don't eat, and I will starve myself. And when I starve myself, then I will die, right? But if I continue to have an unhealthy relationship with food, it will kill me. Come on now. That is the evil in disguise. Eating too much fat, eating too much sugar, eating too larger portions, eating too much food a day, putting on more weight on my body, more weight for my body to carry. Then that will manifest itself in my knees giving me problems and my hips giving me problems. Not to mention what's going on the inside with cholesterol and clogged arteries and my heart having to work harder. It will manifest itself in all kinds of ways. So wisdom liberates us and frees us from bondage, common everyday things that we may even overlook. So I'm asking for wisdom and insight on the proper things to eat, properly exercising. And even in exercising, that doesn't mean I still can overeat. That doesn't mean I can still eat the wrong things. Absolutely not. I have to regiment myself and understand and eat and ingest those things that are healthy, those things that as I add exercise and a better routine to my schedule will help fuel me and help burn the fat in my body, help clear up any clogged arteries, help my heart be stronger and healthier so that I can live a long and prosperous life. So let's jump back in, starting at verse 16 of Proverbs chapter 2, and get to our fourth and final point. Only wisdom can save you from the flattery of the promiscuous woman. She's such a smooth talking seductress. She left her husband and has forgotten her wedding vows. You'll find her house on the road to hell, and all the men who go through her doors will never come back to the place where they were. They will find nothing but dissolution and despair. Follow those who follow wisdom and stay on the right path. Follow all my godly lovers who will enjoy life to the fullest and will inherit their destinies. But the treacherous ones who love darkness will not only lose all that they could have had, they will also lose even their very souls. So I was tickled, right? Because every time we talk about promiscuity, it always amazes me that it ties back to a woman or a female reference, right? But talking about wisdom will save us from flattery. And we think that flattery is a good thing, right? But flattery, according to dictionary.com, is to praise or compliment insincerely, to gratify by falsification. So flattery, when it comes to my relationship with food, for example, right? I don't know what your situation is, but I'm sure things are beginning to come to mind. But flattery, in that sense, to praise or compliment insincerely or to gratify by falsification, for me, right, in my relationship with food, flattery is, okay, oh my gosh, one of my favorite meals, just a favorite Southern comfort down home meal for me is fried chicken, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, potato salad, cornbread, and a sweet tea. Okay, you see how that thing rolled off my lips. But eating that on a daily basis is not healthy for me, for my body. So even now that I'm redeveloping and looking at my relationship with food, oftentimes you hear that we can have a cheat day. We can have a day where we may not count calories or may not be concerned about what we eat, right? So flattery is me telling myself, okay, this is my cheat day. I'm going to eat fried chicken, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, potato salad, cornbread, and a side of sweet tea. But that is false. That is gratification by falsification. I'm lying to myself, right? Because unless I can convince myself to eat a smaller portion of fried chicken, a smaller portion, collard greens are good, right? And a smaller portion of the carbs and a smaller portion of the sweet tea, or take the sweet tea off altogether, I'm flattering myself. I'm deceiving myself. And me lying to myself and deceiving myself about my relationship with food is what has gotten me in this position and having an unhealthy relationship with food and needing to turn that around. And talking about promiscuity, promiscuous is casual, irregular, haphazard, without order. So again, oh my God, in developing and recreating my healthy relationship with God, I can't be promiscuous, haphazard, and not have any order. I have to plan my meals. Planning meals is key, because the days that I don't plan my meals or properly plan my meals, I'm eating whatever is readily available. And typically, whatever is readily available is not healthy for me. I'm not talking about what's healthy for you, but it's not healthy for me. High in calories, high in fat, high in preservatives. But I have to cook my meals, plan my meals out for the week in order to recreate and let wisdom and discernment have its perfect work. So that gets us into the fourth and final point, is that wisdom exposes or shines a spotlight on hidden hazards and dangers. And that we can find in verse 16 and 22 of Proverbs chapter 2, which I just read, is that wisdom exposes or shines a spotlight on hidden hazards and dangers. So wisdom giving us that insight that we need. I don't always see readily what the drawback is, because again, back to the food reference, I need to eat. But just because I need to eat the right things and not the wrong things. I need to eat healthy foods, nourishing foods that's like fuel to help my body burn and eliminate all the bad stuff and keep and retain the healthy things that will nourish me and be healthy. So that's what we need the insight and the wisdom of God for, is exposing and shining a spotlight on hidden hazards. And looking at that in terms of even relationships, right? There are people that we may come in contact with that have a hidden agenda. And we need discernment to expose those things so that we don't come into relationship with them and experience the destruction and devastation and disappointment of that relationship. And in thinking about flattery, I think about when I was raising my children when they were younger. And my son, when he would come up and hug on me, you know, kids get to a stage where you're hugging on them and they're like, no, don't hug on me. Don't kiss on me. Right. And so my son had gotten beyond at that stage where he didn't want to be all mama's hugs and kisses and that sort of thing. But when he wanted something, he would come up to me and hug on me. Oh, mommy, you smell so good. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, that's such a nice dress. And immediately thinking about flattering, right? To praise a compliment insincerely, I would immediately say to him, what do you want? What do you want? I know you want something. What do you want? Because you are not complimenting me out of the kindness of your heart. You are not complimenting me sincerely. I know you want something. What makes you think that I want something? And of course, 10 times out of 10, well, let me say 9 times out of 10, he did want something, but he was trying to butter me up. So today in Proverbs chapter 2, just to go through really quick the highlights in terms of our daily proverb for profitability and positively influencing the bottom line. Our first insight that we got from Proverbs chapter 2 is that wisdom requires an investment, a commitment, and we're to cherish it and invest the time and energy and seek it out and pass it on. Wisdom, the insight number 2, is that wisdom is a gift that keeps on giving. That discernment and that understanding and the insight, it's a gift that will keep on giving over and over and over again. It's like compounded interest, but in the positive, it's our dividends, right? The return on the investment. Insight number 3 is that wisdom liberates us. It frees us from bondage. It frees us from the norm and doing business the same old way. And finally, the fourth point is that wisdom exposes or shines a spotlight on hidden hazards and dangers. It keeps us protected and it keeps us safe. So I certainly hope that you were blessed today, and that as you look at the insights found in Proverbs chapter 2 and you apply them to today and see. So we're starting off at the morning with these insights. Journal them and see how wisdom shows up and discernment shows up throughout the day. And at the end of the day, if you do a gratitude journal, or at the end of the day, just think as you lay in the bed and close your eyes and drift off into rest, think about how wisdom and discernment showed up today. Think about how we can apply those insights, and think about how it showed up and how much smoother your day went and how you were able to avoid some pitfalls thanks to the insight and the discernment. You be blessed, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we jump into Proverbs number 3 and pull out 4 insights to apply and get your vision boards done through the eyesight of wisdom. All right. Have a blessed day. And again, if you miss any episode, go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Lisa T. Lewis. And look, click on notifications. So that way, when I go live, you'll be able to catch it right hot off the press. Have a blessed day, and let Proverbs have its perfect work in your life today.